Final Fantasy V, also known as the FF game that gets no love. And why is that? Probably because it wasn't released in the US until 1999. This is a shame because this game is awesome and if you ask me, horribly underrated. Originally released in Japan in 1992 for the Super Nintendo, the first time Western gamers got to experience it was 7 years later in 1999. It was released on the PlayStation 1 as part of Final Fantasy Anthology alongside FF6. Since then, there has been loads of ports on countless systems and most recently, the Pixel Remaster, which is why we're all here. While all of these remastered enhancements are great, it's Final Fantasy V's job system that is still the life of the party, even 30 years later. This, and the fact that the whole Final Fantasy V experience is a lot of fun, makes this title a must-play JRPG if you're into the classics. What is your experience with FF5? Which version did you first play? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're a Final Fantasy or JRPG fan, you should consider subbing, and please help me slay the final boss of YouTube, the algorithm, by slashing that like button. Alright, let's get into it. FF5 begins with King Tycoon investigating the wind shrine after the wind stops blowing. Meanwhile, the game's protagonist, Bartz, investigates a meteorite that has just smashed down onto the surface. Here, he finds an unconscious girl, who happens to be a princess, and then an old man who has lost his memory. Eventually, they team up with a pirate named Ferris, and the four of them set out on a journey to protect the world's crystals from being destroyed. These crystals act as a seal, containing the powerful evil sorcerer Exdeath, who was sealed up long ago. Honestly, I don't think the story is nearly as bad as people make it out to be. Yeah, it's simple and a little cliche, but there are some genuinely interesting moments with some emotional scenes sprinkled throughout. But for the most part, it is a fun, light-hearted journey. It is fun, which is probably the one word I would associate with the entire FF5 experience. Throughout most of the game, you're stuck with the same four characters and they're all likable in their own way. They each have their own basic story arcs and the party dynamics can be pretty entertaining at times. I quite liked this cast. The main villain, Exdeath, on the other hand, is very generic and completely hell-bent on destruction. But I guess it's not until FF6 when the antagonist starts stepping it up to the big league. You're not going to put the story on your list of best narratives ever, but it is absolutely serviceable. Plus, there's Gilgamesh, the debut of our favourite, battle-obsessed comedian. He has some great moments and also an incredible theme. Battle on the Big Bridge is one of my favourite, most nostalgic FF tracks of all time. But the story isn't where it's at. You came here to party for one reason, and that is the job system. Job systems in general are amazing. Huge fan here, and Square does such a great job with them. While Final Fantasy III was where this system originated, FF5 was able to take it to an entirely new level, and this system is by far the strongest part of the game. At several key points in the story, you'll gain access to a range of new jobs, from knights to bards to summoners to sex workers. Scrap that last one. Not only do these jobs provide unique battle abilities and equipment restrictions, but as you gain ability points through combat, you'll also level up a character's current job. Leveling up a job will unlock new, unique abilities that are either passive or for use in battle. Once learnt, these abilities can be equipped in the empty secondary slot of any job. Hell, if you want a dragoon who can sing songs, you can do it. If you want a dual-wielding white mage, there is nothing to stop you. This system is truly amazing and completely addictive. I was always so keen to discover what ability will be learnt next. You also are not given any indication what will be learnt next, and this mystery is the appeal of the system. All I wanted to do was grind and level up my job so I could see what I'd learn next. Yeah, I actually wanted to grind. The vast amount of jobs and abilities provide so many viable options in battle. What I loved is that sometimes the seemingly less powerful jobs have amazing abilities that work so well when combined with other jobs. For instance, for a large part of the game, I equipped the Ranger's animal ability in the secondary slot of other jobs. This ability summons a random animal, one of which does some generous healing to all party members, so I was able to use this as my only healing method. This addictive job system is also supported supported by a massive variety of equipment, and these options will provide further strategies. The great thing about this is that most equipment is not just stat-based, but has a passive ability too, such as the golden hairpin that halves MP cost. While this system is great, there are still a few areas for improvement. I really wanted to see some more quality of life features here. For instance, being able to see all of the magic, spells, summons, songs, etc. that you have learnt in a menu without actually having to be in that job. In the job selection menu, it should also display the ability points required for that job to level up without needing to select the job and check in an additional menu. Showing what level each spell is would have also saved a lot of unnecessary menu hopping. You really do jump in and out of menus a lot, but these issues are easily forgiven because the system is just so damn good. With the exception of this job system, my favourite thing about FF5 is the amount of optional content and secrets that can be discovered all around the world. Yes, the encounter rate is annoyingly high, but the incentives to hunt high and low does make it worth the time. The best moments that I had with FF5 was uncovering the world secrets and finding new things to make my party even stronger. The Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster features the same enhancements as the other installments. The many quality of life features make this game much more playable, and the audio and graphical enhancements are great. The soundtrack has some incredible tracks, and there is also some really awesome sprite work here with some backgrounds and story scenes looking fantastic. Also, just like the previous Pixel Remasters, the Game Boy Advance version's extra content has been cut. In this case, it's the Sealed Temple and 4 optional jobs, so this still provides a great incentive to go back and play other versions of Final Fantasy V. Unfortunately, I did encounter a few bugs and glitches. At one point, I lost an hour of playtime after I was teleported to a random area on the map, making progression impossible. I also noticed that the Berserk visual sprite change doesn't apply when you equip this ability from the Berserker job. Funnily enough, it does activate when you're on the victory screen. Hopefully, these minor issues can be ironed out in future patches. Surely I'm not the only one out there that holds Final Fantasy V in such high regard. Please let me know if there's anyone out there, anyone at all. Maybe if it had a Western release in the early 90s, things would be different, but whatever the case, it's here now and completely accessible to just about everyone. If you need one single reason to play this game, let it be the job system. It provides so many options and is so addictive. The exploration and amount of secrets to uncover is also outstanding, and this makes hunting everywhere so rewarding. Then there's the Pixel Remaster's visual, audio and quality of life enhancements that would easily make this version of Final Fantasy V the best, if you can put aside the cut content from previous versions. I honestly find it really difficult to point out any major flaws here. This game is just so much fun. Maybe the encounter rate. Alright, I'll go with that if I have to. If you like classic JRPGs and somehow missed Final Fantasy V on your RPG journey, then this game is for you. FF5 really does need some more love. Let me know your story and thoughts on this game. Did you know that The Simpsons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are referenced in Final Fantasy V? Find out where, as well as loads of other awesome facts in my Final Fantasy V Know the Facts video. This was Hellfire RPGs, thanks for watching. If you liked this review, it would help me out a lot if you hit like and subbed for more RPG content. See you next time.